months after General Bipin Rawat tragically died in an air crash. The big question, who is replacing him as the Chief of Defence Staff? Well, the government has finally made a big move on the issue. The government has amended the Military Act to choose a CDS that can now involve both serving and, importantly, retired three-star officers. That's right. The new move means that the pool of people who could succeed General Rawat, who remember lost his life 6 months ago. Since then, the government has not filled in that gap created. Huge speculation now. Retired officers can also be chosen as the Chief of Defence Staff. Shiv Arur, my colleague, joins me at this moment on that. Shiv, what does this mean? Is there likelihood now of a retired officer becoming the next Chief of Defence Staff?
You know, Rajdeep, this announcement has set the cat among the proverbial pigeons and how among military circles, especially the veterans community, with officers of the rank of Lieutenant General, Vice Admiral, Air Marshal, who had hung up their combat boots and had receded into a, retired life, now suddenly having a shot, perhaps at the top post in the Indian military. It's been over 6 months since the death of India's first Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat. You're absolutely right. The government did not feel the need to appoint an immediate replacement since it was a politically appointed position. But now by, amending the Army, Air Force and Navy Act and exponentially expanding the pool, from which it can actually choose, it has sent out several messages. My sense, Rajdeep, is that a decision is around the corner. That's the reason why the Gazette has actually been amended. But the interesting inclusion of retired three-star officers, retired chiefs is one thing. They all retire at the age of 62, so the recently retired chiefs are out of the reckoning. That leaves the recently retired three-star officers, the Lieutenant Generals, Vice Admirals and Air Marshals, Rajdeep. And it is in that rank that there are a large number of recent retirees who are eligible for this post, and therefore the kind of tantalizing intrigue over who really has a shot has hit fever pitch. There are already a huge number of names that are doing the rounds on social media, as one might expect, but the kind of intrigue over this is really something that's going viral in WhatsApp groups, in military veteran groups. It's the talk of the town in the military circles.
Importantly, what you're therefore saying is possibly, and very quickly on this, a retired Vice Admiral or a retired Lieutenant General could become Chief of Defence Staff also. It's opened the doors for many more. Am I correct?
Potentially, Rajdeep, because, otherwise, why would the government need to specify in this Gazette amendment that, retired persons of the three-star rank would also be eligible as long as they had not reached the age of 62. Now, Lieutenant Generals, Vice Admirals, Air Marshals usually retire close to 60. Chiefs retire at the age of about 62. So the three-star rank have that age barrier for them to make them potentially eligible to become Chief of Defence Staff. There are a lot of problems here. Do they get elevated and become therefore senior to people who they are technically, junior to while they were in service? There are many questions and queries which haven't quite been clarified by this Gazette amendment just yet. So it remains to be seen how it actually happens. Right. Let's remember that even General Bipin Rawat was promoted above and over the shoulders of people who were senior to him when he became the army chief. So this government does do that.
Okay, we'll wait and see how this plays out. Clearly an important development on that entire issue that has been hanging fire now for 6 months. Who will succeed General Bipin Rawat? Shiv Arur with that exclusive news break.